Hi and welcome back to our channel. My name is Jörg, which is German for George, here at Find a Job in Germany in Berlin. People, we get your requests on CV tips quite often, and that's what this video is going to be about. So you want to focus on a few things, especially when it comes to formatting issues. That is what I'm going to be talking about today. Formatting is crucial for any recruiter to have a good impression of what you're delivering. The reason on why formatting matters so much is that a German recruiter will look at your CV and say, hey, if the formatting isn't proper, why should we even consider inviting this person for a first round? If they're not able to deliver in this department, how are they ever going to be writing clean code for us? How are they ever going to be contributing to the team effectively? That's their thinking, and this is why this is important. And we come across a lot of CVs. I mean, when you're in our personal coaching program, for example, and you're interested in joining us, we ask you to send us your CV as well. And we do notice that there is just these frequently repeating issues that we monitor, which can be a deal breaker for German HR. Let's talk about the first one, the non-consistent use of the bullet point. Sometimes there's people that apply bullet points throughout their CVs, especially in their project description. The problem here is that sometimes people are not using them consistently throughout. They start using them on the first page or at the top, but then they keep on kind of, losing track, to say the least. Consistency here is key. The same actually with a full stop. If you're applying a full stop at the end of a sentence in your CV, for example, in a bullet point, that is totally doable. There is no rule that says you should or should not do it. What's important is that you stay consistent in how you're using it. If you apply a full stop at the end of a sentence, I personally favor that approach because it's a main clause. You have to do it throughout. That is key. Second, it's important that you understand consistency also in the sense of how you spell technologies. Node.js, React.js, this is just one example. If you're writing React.js, that is doable and totally fine. It's also legit to write React and then capital J, capital S without the full stop. Again, if you're using it one way, you're using it throughout your CV, please. Next item, double spaces. Double spaces are accidental usages of you typing the spacebar twice without noticing it, and it will create a short gap in between words, and it looks messy. And there is a simple trick for you to identify those, and here's a simple way for you to check your CV by yourself. If you like, just go on your Microsoft or your Google Doc and hit Control-A, and you search for a double space by hitting the spacebar twice, and it will automatically show you where you might have hit the spacebar twice by accident. Usually every CV contains a little glitch like that, and this is how you can iron that one out. One more thing, I even find CVs sometimes not using the right font throughout. When I say right font, I'm not saying that you should use a certain font. You can use whatever font you like, which has a business look to it. Arial is totally fine if you like that, don't worry. But don't use two fonts. That's important. Stick to one font only. Make it easy, make it simple, make it stupid. Don't become fancy and work with different fonts. You don't have to do that unless you really have, let's say, the talent for graphics design, then it's also fine, but you want to start easy. However, after adding up to your projects after time, and a CV is always work in progress, we know that, everybody has that. Sometimes people end up using a certain font that they didn't start with their design in the first place. They didn't start out with that font, and all of a sudden they keep on working with a different font, and they won't realize it. Well, and that is also messy. That is also a deal breaker for some recruiters here in Germany, so that's important. Grammar checks. Use Grammarly. Really, this is a very, very helpful tool that we encourage everybody to use in our coaching program. It will automatically show you where you need to improve in your documents. One more thing about the bullet points. When you're creating a bullet point for your projects, you have your employer, underneath you're saying what you worked on, what you contributed to, what you achieved. Please be consistent in how you're using the verbs. If you have actively built a database, then that is okay if you keep on using the verb built with a T, of course, if that's something in the past. If it's something that you're doing right now, you want to use building. But what you don't want to use is not be consistent by in one form to say, I developed or built or created, and then finish off that sentence. And your next bullet point, all of a sudden, you start with a noun of that verb. So creation of, building of, that's inconsistent style. If you're starting out with one active verb, use it throughout, but in that style, and don't all of a sudden switch to this subjunctive, to this form where you're turning the verb into a noun. That would be inconsistent here. Besides the double spaces, besides the same font size. Really, you want to make sure that you search throughout your CV whether or not you find these kinds of glitches. That usually already regularly helps. And finally, please use the ruler when you are aligning your paragraphs. Do not, I repeat, do not use the space bar. There's people that will create distances between words and paragraphs, for example, by doing this, until they believe they have actually hit the right area in that paragraph and where they think the paragraph should align properly. Do not use the space bar. This is probably one of the most frequently repeated feedbacks I'm giving. There is a tab button for it on your keyboard, which is actually here. All right, that's what that is for, if you had ever wondered. So really, take that seriously. I appreciate the ruler, which will show at the top of your sheet in Google Docs, because that will also really make every alignment pixel perfect. That's usually what I prefer. And it works in sync with your tab button. That's the secret behind this here. If you apply these things throughout your CV, and you want to really apply some of these tips already today and see where you can improve your format, you're going to find you are maybe able to iron out a few things already by yourself. However, if you're still interested and also come to Germany with our help, naturally, we do provide this kind of CV support. Go ahead, if you like, and watch our 20-minute video training. This is where I talk about our program. This is where I introduce you, of course, to what you should take care of when you're finding a job in Germany. And naturally, we're looking forward to meeting you online. We're going to be calling you on WhatsApp after you've watched that video training. You know how to get in touch. Please do so. In any case, we're looking forward to meeting you. Send us your CV. Please don't forget about that. And then we're looking forward to talking to you. All the best and see you soon.